Lilith and Libra, the repressed, exiled expression. This is how her wild power of balance and beauty becomes distortion and self-abandonment. Over accommodates, abandons her truth to keep the peace, over identifies with a good girl, wife, or helper role to feel worthy, defines herself by others' approval, desires, or values, polishes her image to be likable, safe, and acceptable, becomes a performance, suppresses rage to maintain harmony, fears being seen as dramatic or irrational, betrays herself in relationships to be chosen or avoid being alone, hyper focused on fairness, even when her soul is being dishonored, stays silent when truth would disrupt the illusion of love, uses beauty or charm to manipulate or survive, but feels empty underneath, attracts codependent, controlling, or one-sided partnerships, spiritually bypasses shadow work in favor of aesthetic balance, fears conflict, would rather suffer in silence than risk being rejected. I have a lot to say about this because Libra is my moon, and then I have a stellium of planets also in retrograde, which means it's a lot to do with like past life stuff in the Libra placement. And like I said before, the Libra, when we were talking about Aries, and if you haven't watched all of these videos, I highly suggest that you watch the videos, even if this isn't your placement, because the energy can kind of be applied to other context within that sign, like a different mythology, but still in that sign. So the Libra is the god of war. And so, yes, like there's like all these like pretty, pretty aesthetic stuff where like it's a beautiful woman in a dress and she's holding the scales and justice is blind. Okay, that's true. We want justice. We want balance. However, there's two. When there's two things, they could be at odds together. The polarization either helps create something like a spark, friction creates a spark or creates the heat to then start a fire, or repels if it's two of the same, or if there's not enough, if all the things with duality. And so when we're looking at this from this Lilith perspective, that to me, because we're talking about duality and we're taking into account that we're not trying to go back to the matriarchy, we are evolving past matriarchy and patriarchy into basically the new human, the new existence that could form, right? So if we're looking at it from that perspective, I believe that because we're trying to have this dual thing where like some people want to go back to the matriarchy, some people hate the patriarchy, some people still want a lot of the patriarchy to still exist. Just look at everybody who's hanging on to the past. They don't even know they are begging to stay with their narcissist. And that's what I want to get at, that if you're looking at this, this looks very much like what we do when we're in a narcissistic relationship where we're always having to conform to keep the peace or keep that narcissist happy so that they don't attack us. And so I really want you to take a look at that, if that lens is helpful for you, because this is where we're really sacrificing ourself for comfort and survival, and it's like when you're in a narcissistic relationship, they have you so manipulated to think that you can't survive without them. So it's so hard to leave. So if you can kind of identify with that, or even just educate yourself around that, if you haven't dealt with that, and you look at this chart or you look at this slide and you're like, yeah, my Lilith is in Libra, it's like, whoa, like don't do that to yourself. Don't do it to yourself. Like really take that into account so that you can change that. So as the evolved priestess, this is when she reclaims herself as the sacred mirror, the keeper of divine reciprocity. Knows true balance begins with radical self-honor, not sacrifice. Stands in her truth even when it creates rupture. Chooses soul over comfort. Reclaims beauty as power. Adorns herself for pleasure, not approval. Brings justice through embodiment. She is the recalibration, not just the witness. Cultivates sovereign relationships based on truth, desire, and equality. Speaks with both ferocity, and grace, truth-telling as an art form. Channels harmony through boundaries, not avoidance. Her presence disarms performance. She invites others into raw authenticity, unmasks false love, and sees through projection, illusion, and flattery. Dances between softness and fire, diplomacy and disruption as a ritual. Mirrors the divine to others by fully embodying her own essence. Chooses union from wholeness, not from wounding. I'm so excited for you to be alive right now in the change of civilization, because as we have the planet's moving, I see that there's like all these like fragments of energy. So we have all this free energy. And so we have all this free energy. And what does that mean? What does it mean to me? It means to me that we have a planet moving over here. And because the planet is moving over here and there's all this energy over here and it's going over there, and it's like, we're going to make this. And then it's up to us standing where the planet just was in this snow globe of free energy. And we could either be looking backwards to be like, no, that's not what I thought my life was going to be like when I was a kid. This is not what I envisioned. Or we could be like, holy shit, I'm alive at the turn of civilization. What does this planet into this sign mean for civilization? What does it mean for me? And where's my superpower? Where's my look under the rug? Where's my pierce the veil? So for you to have your Lilith in Libra, oh my God, you're like gonna be like such a great, like, gosh, you're gonna be such a leader for us. That's so cool. Okay. Well, and yourself, because it's about you, but you know, it's when I'm in leadership too. Okay, the Libra repressed version of the Lilith is, I'd rather be agreeable than abandoned. The evolved is, I choose harmony without self-betrayal.